fired at a group of people near an apartment building. Now it's 19 Olympic gold medals for American swimmer Michael Phelps.
The most decorated Olympian of all time, adding to his haul with gold in the men's 4x100 freestyle relay, his 23rd career medal. Teenager Katie Ledecky picked up her second medal here in Rio, obliterating her own world record en route to gold in the women's 400-meter freestyle.
Fox Radio's Chris Honing. Team USA now leads in the medal count with 12. The U.S., China, and Australia each have 3 gold. Fox News, we report, you decide.
Napa know-how.
Not all store brands are created equal. For example, when you buy Napa brand synthetic motor oil for $2.99 a quart, you're getting a quality product for a great price. Unlike buying store brand ketchup, good price, but with a funky kind of aftertaste. So pick up Napa full synthetic motor oil now for $2.99 a quart. The taste your car will love. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
General States pricing. Sales prices do not include applicable state, local taxes, or recycling fees. Offer expires 8/31/16.
Geico presents Kathy, the Candid Real Estate Agent.
As you can see, this apartment has crown molding, and yes, that's a working fireplace. Can't you see yourself curling up with a good book? At least until a pipe bursts, and then you'll need to replace your brand new upholstered sofa. That thing will soak up water like a sponge.
It's hard to know all that comes with renting a home or apartment. That's why the Geico Insurance Agency makes getting covered for personal property loss and damage quick and easy. Visit geico.com and see how affordable renter's insurance can be.
Yeah, I'm that drip coming down from the corner of the room. But where did I come from? I'll never tell.
Bone Dry Roofing can and will fix it right the first time using quality materials and will deal honestly and fairly with you, period. You can find Bone Dry Roofing on their website, bonedryroofingllc.com, and Facebook at Bone Dry Roofing LLC. Do it right before your roof needs a tarp to keep the elements out. Bone Dry Roofing stands behind their work to help make your home safe and secure. Plus, they have financing available. Remember, if you're not bone dry, then you're all wet.
Join us on Thursday's Health Matters show when Robin and I interview the therapists from Palm Garden of Ocala. Led by Dr. Jira, physical therapist, and the staff at Palm Garden will talk about the Alter G anti-gravity treadmill using NASA technology, the Big and Loud program used to treat Parkinson's, and more. The Health Matters program can be heard weekdays at 11:05 right here on The Source, WOCA.
FlySanford.com, Orlando Sanford International Airport. We are SFB. Simpler, faster, better. Simpler, with an easy-to-navigate compact airport design. You won't need your running shoes. Faster, with quick processing times from parking to plane in minutes. Better, with more nonstop flights to your favorite places. And new destinations are being added all the time. For enjoyable travel, come to Orlando Sanford International Airport. We are SFB. Simpler, faster, better. Before you fly, FlySanford.com.
Here's what you may have missed on the John Tesh Radio Show.
So, sugar-free gum versus mints, it's the gum. Big winner. Now, this could be a chicken and egg question. Is Target influencing nearby home prices, or are they opening stores in areas where home values are already rising? Realty Track didn't know, but still, it's good news if you live near a Target store. The next big thing is a droney. That's a selfie taken with a drone.
Intelligence for your life on the John Tesh Radio Show. Don't miss this stuff.
Hi, I'm Big Daddy Don Garlitz, asking you to support adoption by purchasing a Choose Life license plate from your county tag office. You know it costs a lot to give a child life. Many times a woman is forced to make a bad choice because of financial pressures. Help save the lives of the unborn children by aiding women whom choose life instead of abortion. Take a stand for life. Purchase your Choose Life license plate today. For more information, go to chooselife.org or call 352-624-2854.
WWWWOCA, WWWWOCA.
When it really counts, depend on The Source for the latest weather updates, keeping you ahead of the storm. 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, The Source.
Hi, I'm Fran Darkington. When I need news, I pass the rest and tune to The Source, WOCA.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA.
Ocala.
All right, 25 minutes before 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. Have you ever checked out at a grocery store or a big box store and checked yourself out? Have you gone to that aisle, that lane? I have. And typically when you go to that lane, there is one person working for the store, and there are, 9 machines in Walmart anyway that I know of. So 9 people could be checking out, and there's only one, what used to be called a cashier. She or he is basically there just to help you out if you're having trouble. And the more time goes by, the more of us are very skilled at using those self-checkout things. So there's one example right there of how machine or technology has taken over the jobs of at least 8 other people. If there's one person working there and 8 places to check out, that would have been in the past 9 workers. Now, you could say, oh, that's progress. That's a good thing. And I'm not going to argue that. I'm just telling you that that's a fact. There's another example. I have a SunPass in my car. I drive down the turnpike. I do not have to actually speak to anybody, hand any money over. There are no toll. There's still toll booths with people in them, but a good number of the toll booths have no people in them because people just drive right through them with their automatic passes, right? Mm-hmm. And the last one before I introduce our guest is this job I'm doing right now. I used to be the guy who did music radio. It was fun, but guess what? You don't need those guys anymore because computers can do it all. They don't have computers yet to take over talk radio.
No.
But that could still happen. You could have an intelligent computer who could argue with you and speak and sound good. Let's see. We are going to talk about this with Calum Chace. He is a journalist, a best-selling author. He's a speaker about artificial intelligence. He's got a book called The Economic Singularity, and he wants to talk to us about artificial intelligence and what might be the death of capitalism. Let's find out if he's right or if we agree with him. Calum Chace. Good morning, Calum. What a fascinating topic. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Larry. How are you?
I'm okay. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from England.
From England? Wow.
England.
Wow. All the across
long way
the
away.
Water. See, and you're not a robot. You're a real person, right?
Last I looked.
But okay, so now everything I said is it can be argued that it's disturbing because people lose jobs, or it could be said, no, that's just the technology making things better for the rest of us. How do you associate that with the end of capitalism?
Well, that's a big question. So the argument is that the sorts of automation you've just referred to are absolutely the beginning, the really, really early stages, and that in the next few decades, the next 20 to 40 years, almost everybody is going to be unemployable because machines, artificial intelligence, and its peripherals, the robots, will be able to do everything that we can do faster, better, and cheaper. Everything that we can do for a living, for money, that is. And actually, that this could be a very good thing. If we prepare for it, if we make the transition well, then we'll move to an economy where nobody has to work. People will still do work. They'll still have projects. They'll write, paint, play sport, socialize, watch films and theatre and so on. But they just won't get paid for it because the machines will be doing all the paid jobs. And so people will need an income from somewhere else. Now that begins to not sound like capitalism. And there are concerns that when we go to this world, and I personally think it's when, not if, then we end up with some other effects, which we can talk about later, which mean I think we will, regressively, probably have to abandon capitalism. And I say that with great regret, because you described me as a journalist. I have been a journalist, but I've actually been in business for 30 years, and I'm a firm believer in the power of modern capitalism. Mm-hmm. But I don't think it's going to work for us in this new world.
Really? Okay, I'm all ears on this one. So let me ask a couple of questions. The first one would be probably an obvious one. Somebody would be making the machines, the robots, and somebody would be buying the machines. So there would still be capitalism between those two people.
Initially, yes, but increasingly the machines will make the other machines, and the AIs will write the software for the next machine. And indeed, even buying the machines will be buying machines. The whole economy eventually will be run by machines. There might be a few people left setting the overall goal, setting the sort of the human-oriented goal of the whole thing. But the great majority of us are going to be unemployable And what we have to do is to make sure that's a good thing.
Will there still be classes? Will there still be rich and poor and middle class?
Yeah, that's a good question. You see, if we retain the institution of private property, where I think we will end up is a world where a small number of people who own the AI, and they're called Larry Page, Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, and so on, they will own the AI, and because they own the AI, and the AI is the source of pretty much all the value in the economy, they'll own everything else as well. Now, you could then have a very extreme form of class society, which I think is increasingly going to get called the gods and the useless scenario. Rather a brief.
Oh, wow. Okay, so let's say Mark Zuckerberg has a family, and he has children, and he wants a babysitter. Would that babysitter get paid?
If he wants a human babysitter because he thinks that's quaint or in some way prestigious, then yeah, I guess he would pay the person for that, or maybe he wouldn't. I don't know. It depends. The human might think, well, I don't need the money because I get money from my universal basic income, which
I
want to go on
see, and that's what you're saying, that the need for so who would we be paying the money to? If we get money from the universal paying thing you just said, who would we be paying the money to if nobody's using money?
We would all be receiving money from the source. Now, the source is, in the first instance, clearly going to be taxation because there's nowhere else for it to come from. So the government or some sort of central authority is going to have to hand out, when this first starts happening, when we first start getting kind of a quarter and a half of the population unemployable, the government is going to have to introduce universal basic income, and it will pay for it by levying taxes on the extraordinarily wealthy people who are getting very, very rich by making the AIs, which make all the goods and services very, very efficiently. Now, I'm worried about that, and I know that's likely to raise a lot of hackles, particularly in America, because it sounds like communism, and it is a worrying development. I think we need to move to a different form of communal ownership.
So does that mean that the schools, the education institutions will go away, and that people will lose the drive to learn, and they'll just sit on their butts every day and be couch potatoes?
It's a great question, and it's a question that worries a lot of people. Personally, I think actually that's the least of our actual worries. I don't think people are going to learn less. I think we're going to learn more. When you meet retired people, I mean, some retired people get depressed and don't know what to do with themselves, but lots of retired people are very busy, and lots of them do a great deal of learning. Over here we have a thing called the University of the Third Age. I'm sure you've got lots of equivalents in the States. I think education is going to go through a big revolution. We're going to get much better at it. At the moment, education is still carried out in pretty much the same way it was 200 years ago. We sit kids down in military ranks and we make them sit very still. And that's not the best way to teach people. And I think education is going to go through a flowering, a huge renaissance, because we're going to have so much time on our hands. We're going to have to learn. We're going to have to develop our minds in order to enjoy the leisure.
So what do we use that intelligence for? I mean, typically we learn so that we can perform a function and be employed.
Well, that's one of the reasons why we learn. I mean, I like to think that we also learn because, as Socrates said, a considered life is the only life worth living. The joy of learning for its own sake, and we will explore and we will have adventures, and you need to learn to do that.
What would be the reason for a war? It sounds like if this was truly universal and the whole world was doing this, then there would be no need for war.
Let's hope not.
Well, this doesn't sound so bad, actually.
It doesn't, does it?
No, I don't know. It just sounds pretty good to me. I mean, we don't like the idea of the government giving us a paycheck, but I mean, under the circumstances of what you're talking about, I get him. How do I own a car? How do I buy a car?
You would receive an income, and that income would allow you to buy a car. I mean, actually, in the future, when we have lots of self-driving cars, I think we may find that there's less need for us all to own one. You'll kind of go onto your you'll just whistle up your self-driving Uber car, and it will arrive and take you to where you want to go. But if you want to buy a car, then you can use your money to do that.
My goodness, this sounds like a book that could be considered fiction. This is like 1984, where it sounds like fiction when it's first published, but then a few years later it becomes the course of the way things are.
How would this affect cultures? the different cultures around the world if everybody, succumbs to all of this and they all get along.
I think that we will achieve greater understanding between the cultures, but I don't think that they will disappear. In fact, I think people will have more time to explore their own and other people's cultures. I think we'll have more diversity in this future world than we do now. And you're right, it does seem like science fiction, but the funny thing is that science fiction has a habit of coming true. And it seems to be coming true faster and faster.
Help me understand how calamity would be handled. By calamity, I mean fires or
earthquakes,
or natural calamities, or like robberies, people stealing. I'm sure people will still be people. There'll still be robbers and killers and accidental fires. So would there still be firemen and policemen? Would that still be around, or would they be robots too?
I think increasingly they will be robots. And, wouldn't it be better, rather than sending a human into a burning house and putting them at risk, to send a robot into the burning house, which is actually stronger and faster than the human, able to see in the dark, able to, has a lot more senses, and doesn't mind getting killed. That's got to be an improvement.
Right. So help me out here. A robber goes to steal. And now has broken the law and now is apprehended by a robot policeman and is taken to a jail that is guarded by robot police or robot corrections officers.
Yes, and then gets judged by a robot judge.
Oh, he gets judged by... that's where I was going. Okay, he gets judged by a robot judge. Wow.
There is an AI system which has gone through the case files for something like 500 cases at a high level in the American legal system, and produced judgments. And it produced the quote-unquote correct judgments more often than human judges did. So, AI is already very smart. But the thing is, what most people don't realize, we're right at the beginning, and machines and in general and AI is improving at an exponential rate. It's really important for people to understand what that means. Exponential growth means you double the performance of something every period. In this case, every 18 months.
Is there
go ahead.
Is there a one world government at this point?
Who knows? That might be our future, and it might not. I don't really know. I don't think that the world is going to get all boring and homogenous. I think that if you're in Florida, you're going to carry on being a Floridian, and someone living in London is going to carry on being a Londoner.
But I'm thinking that, okay, there are some people who, let's just go with what you're saying and imagine that people are living like this. I would imagine that there would be some people who would be rebellious to this idea, and they would find a place, an island or someplace, to say, you know what, I want to do it the old-fashioned way, and there'd be no robots at all. Do you think there would be a government that would say you can't do that, and they would come in and arrest you for... I don't know, for abandoning the society or something?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's an interesting question, isn't it? I suspect that if there are a large number of people, let's call them atomists, who don't want any part of this technological new world, and they want to carve out an area for themselves, and they can have no AIs and they can have no machinery, a bit like the Amish, but more extreme than that, then I don't see why the rest of us wouldn't say, fine, if you really want to live like that, then go ahead. I mean, you are all going to die much younger, you're going to get diseases, you're going to be much less healthy, you're going to be much less wealthy, you're all going to have to work all the time and be bored quite a bit of the time. But if you really want to do that, go ahead, and here's the land you can have.
Would it be an end to critical thinking if we're depending on the machines to do critical thinking? I mean, we're already doing this a little bit. The other day, I went to the Tampa airport and I missed the exit for the first time in my life because I was paying attention to the GPS lady, and I should have just been looking at the signs.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's a myth that technology makes us dumb, and there's been actually quite a few studies that have shown this. I think it's a tremendous liberator of our minds that we have something close to omniscience. When I started work, there certainly was no web, and the internet was unknown as well to the great majority of people. And I spent tons of my time when I started work looking for information. Now I just go to Google, Wikipedia, and I've got whatever I need to know at the flick of a button. that has liberated me and has made me much better informed, and I think made me better able to do critical thinking than I could.
Well, now, when a person needs medical care, I mean, right now there are robots performing surgery, but the physicians and the surgeons actually have their hands on, and they're telling those robotic arms what to do. Wouldn't it be kind of dangerous to have robots thinking? Because if they go in there and they know they have to, like, take out an appendix, and so they're focused on that. But if something else starts going wrong, how can the robot shift its focus to try to save the patient without, thinking all it has to do is take care of the appendix?
Yeah, we're going to have to get used to the idea that machines can do a lot of things, an increasing number of things, better than we can. You're quite right that most robotic surgery is done under the control of human surgeons, and that's partly because the technology isn't good enough, and partly because we haven't, really relaxed enough to let go yet. But there was a test done recently where a fully automated robo-surgeon operated on a pig's bladder, and a team of human surgeons carried out the same operation on a different bladder, and the robo-surgeon did it better. Now, it did it more slowly, but the thing about the robot surgeon is it's getting better at an exponential rate, twice as good every 18 months, and the humans aren't. So it's not going to be long before a robotic surgeon can do any kind of surgery better than we can. And the thing about a robotic surgeon is the amount of information that is generated about the medical field is massive. No human could sit and read it all. Even if they did nothing else except read it, they couldn't read it all. And if they did, they'd forget most of it. Robots can learn it all.
Yeah.
Never forget.
We have to take a little break, Calum. So let me do the break, and we'll be right back. The book is called The Economic Singularity. I don't know that we've been fair to the book at all, so let's make sure we are fair. On the other side of the break, we'll be right back with that. And what a fascinating conversation. We'll be right back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accidents. Clouds will limit sunshine this Monday. There'll be some showers and a thunderstorm around, especially during the afternoon hours. The highs in the low to mid 80s. Monday night, partly cloudy with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm, those 72 to 76. Intervals of clouds and sun Tuesday with a couple of thunderstorms around, most numerous during the afternoon hours. The high 83 to 87. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Hi, this is JP from Penn Flooring here in Ocala. I would like to invite you to come in and visit our spacious showroom where we have solutions for every style and budget. From wall-to-wall carpet to hardwood floors and tiles, we have an unsurpassed selection of flooring. At Penn Flooring, we've provided quality customer service with a family touch for over 25 years. Visit our website at pennflooring.com or come by our showroom, 1201 Southwest 17th Street, just over the bridge. Penn Flooring, quality customer service with a family touch.
Hi, my name is Erica Olstein. I'm a doctor of acupuncture and oriental medicine. Do you have a gout-ridden toe or bowels that move too slow, creaky knees, or how about an asthmatic wheeze? Then acupuncture is sure to please. Come visit me, your primary care physician, Erica Olstein, at A Better You Healthcare. Call me at 352-615-5566. That's 352-615-5566.
This is Marion Hammer, past president of NRA. The National Rifle Association has endorsed Dennis Baxley in Senate District 12. We can count on Dennis Baxley to protect our Second Amendment right to own firearms for self-defense and other lawful reasons. Dennis Baxley is the only candidate in this race with a strong, proven record of actively protecting Second Amendment rights. If you value your freedom and your right to own firearms, then vote to protect that freedom. Vote for Dennis Baxley. It's more than guns, it's freedom. And Dennis Baxley will fight to protect your rights. Thank you for listening.
Dennis Baxley, our conservative champion. Made by Dennis Baxley, Republican for State Senate.
All right, 5 minutes before 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. The website, by the way, that I got for this interview for the book, The Economic Singularity, is pandorasbrain.com. And there's a hyphen between Pandora's and Brain. And the author of the book is Calum Chace, calling us from England. And this is a fascinating topic, how artificial intelligence might eventually just do away with pretty much all of our jobs and put an end to capitalism. And we'll all just be getting a a paycheck from the government. Who pays the government, Calum? Who pays them? The rich guys?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that because I don't think in the long run it should be the government that is the paymaster.
Oh, okay.
We know from history that tends not to work very well. I think we're going to have to find a way for the main assets, the artificial intelligence and the productive assets, to be in common ownership, but without the mediation of a government, because governments are by definition inefficient, and there's a huge incentive and kind of tendency towards corruption. So I suspect the blockchain has probably got something to do with this. I think we will end up having the main assets owned communally on the blockchain, and that will be the source of the money.
Do you see any evidence right now that, okay, we see little bits of evidence that this is happening in a small way, but my question really is not, is it happening, but where is it happening? Is it happening more in the Western societies than it is in Asia? Or is the African nations getting in on this as well? Where is this happening so far?
Oh, well, it's been driven from your country, and it's been driven from Silicon Valley. Silicon Valley is where is the home of artificial intelligence. Although I'll wave a little flag for my country because London is the home of some very promising AI companies. There's a company called DeepMind, which was bought by Google a couple of years ago, and DeepMind is the company which made the system which beat the world's best player at Go. Go is a board game. It's much, much more complicated than chess. And nobody expected a machine to win that game for quite a while. But DeepMind built a system which beat the world's best, probably the best ever player of Go. And that happened in March. So, yes, it's being led by the West. But nowhere is very advanced in it yet in terms of automation. We've had mechanization. We've had manual automation for centuries, since before the Industrial Revolution. But this what we're talking about now is new.
But isn't that the serendipity of the whole thing? I mean, you just said that a computer beat DeepMind, and that is really amazing because the humans would have to have programmed that computer with all the different scenarios that could have happened to enable this computer to beat the human player.
Now, that's a great question, and that isn't how they did it. This is the remarkable thing. That is how a computer called Deep Blue beat the world's best chess player back in 1997. Garry Kasparov lost to IBM's Deep Blue computer. Deep Blue was programmed, specifically step by step how to win every game of chess. That isn't what happened with DeepMind, which beat Lee Sedol, the world's best Go player. DeepMind system called AlphaGo was taught how to teach itself how to play Go. So machines are now learning. They teach themselves.
Oh.
So comedians, would they be replaced? I'm guessing that can a machine actually come up with funny lines?
Yeah.
I think the highest paid people would still be, Jerry Seinfeld, wouldn't they?
Mm-hmm.
I guess so. Yeah. Yeah. No, not yet. They can't, but they are trying. People are trying, and there are computers that tell jokes. They're not brilliant at it yet, but they will get there. And I think we all have to get used to the idea that we're all going to. I'm a writer. I write books, and people might think, well, can computers ever write books?
Yeah.
They're starting to. They're already starting to.
Are they really? Oh, my goodness. The economic singularity. What a fascinating topic. I'm guessing the book has way more in it than we were able to cover in this short interview. The book is available everywhere. Am I guessing right?
It's at Amazon in ebook, paperbook, and audio format.
And also the website pandorasbrain.com, correct? With a hyphen, right? Pandora's-brain?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay. Well, you have certainly brought a fascinating topic to this show. Thank you for doing that, Calum, and good luck with everything. And let's hope the robots don't take over the writers. I don't know. Maybe it'll be a good book. I'd like to read the first book, though, written completely by a robot.
Yeah.
You might have to wait a little while.
Thank you, Calum. That was fun. We'll be right back.
This is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News Radio, I'm Pat O'Neill. Delays and cancellations, the story of many airports today. Delta has now started to resume limited flights after